My fellow citizens, all the decades of deceit and cruelty have now reached an end. Saddam Hussein and his sons must leave Iraq within 48 hours.
In 2003, an American-led invasion force swept up from Kuwait and captured Baghdad in less than 3 weeks. But that was only the start.
Major combat operations in Iraq have ended.
After a short period of hope, an insurgency blossomed and the war stretched on to become deadlier and longer than most had expected. Over 100,000 Iraqis are estimated to have died, and nearly 5,000 American soldiers were killed. Since American forces left Iraq at the end of 2011, the war is now a searing chapter in American history.
Well, one thing we think it's important for people to not lose sight of is what happened during this invasion. The amount of killing that occurred during this invasion, as well as, of course, during its aftermath. Let's not get lost in kind of the theoretical, was it a mistake, was it wrong, et cetera, et cetera. What did happen? What were the actual human costs?
At the Bronx Documentary Center, Peter Moss and collaborators gathered diary entries from Lieutenant Tim McLaughlin, who as a member of the 3rd Battalion was in Iraq at the earliest days.
5.56 at it, about 100 meters. Then White 4 opened up with the 50 cal hitting the dump truck at 30 meters. 20 women and children and fathers get out, all of them screaming.
We can say the war is over. It's over for us. There are no more American troops in Iraq. There are no more Americans dying in Iraq. But the war still continues there. It is not over. And what is happening there today began 10 years ago. And that's what this exhibit tries to explain.
But Iraqis here still live with the legacy of the war each day in the form of political dysfunction, sectarian tensions, and rampant violence. Just one day before the 10-year anniversary of the initial invasion, a string of attacks struck Baghdad, killing dozens.
In 2006, there was an explosion here, and now again. It's been 10 years living with pain, fatigue. We were conquered, we have no money or a salary, no land, I don't own my home.
The attacks came as political disagreements between Sunnis and Shiites are worsening, making democracy feel ever more elusive to ordinary Iraqis.
In 10 years, we have seen nothing. No stability, no security. All we see are explosions and killing in the streets. We have seen nothing.
The question of whether Iraqis are better off after the invasion is a complicated one. Few would wish for the return of Saddam Hussein, but few as well think the American invasion is worth the seemingly unending turmoil. The outcome of the war here is still uncertain, while everyone back in the U.S. is looking at it as history.
At the time, we didn't know what the outcome would be, how many people would be killed, whether this country would be saved or not, or whether there are weapons of mass destruction. Now we know. There were no weapons of mass destruction. We know how many people were killed. 4,500 American soldiers, more than 100,000 Iraqis, and this is just the death toll. We're not talking about the number of injured and the survivors. It was an immense toll of human misery from this. And it's even more important now to remember it.